Hello, hi everyone. I'm Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. So, today is the day 30 of this Salesforce Learning Bootcamp, and in this session, we are going to discuss about schedule triggered flow and auto launch flow. So, both are very simple, and maybe this session will be short because these two flows are very simple. So I hope everybody is safe and doing good, and you are learning Salesforce quite well. And I can see our uh, channel is growing. More people are joining and learning. I can see people are discussing doubts on Telegram group as well. It is also growing day by day. So I'm happy like I'm able to create a community where people are really learning Salesforce and preparing themselves for jobs, and those who are already in jobs, so they might be learning new concepts so that they can strengthen their skills and will be able to do more on projects, right? So with this note, I am going to start today's session. So as you can see, we will be discussing about two different flows today. So let's move ahead, and those who have joined for the first time this bootcamp, so you can just go through my profile. So I have total 16 years of experience and having total 6 certification, and after having this much knowledge along with you, I am also learning new things so that I can share those knowledge with you. So daily basis I learn something new, so preparing those content for you. And I also follow all these learning practices, like whenever I prepare something, so I take proper notes, and later on those notes I convert into slides. Those I'm using to deliver the sessions for you. And I prepared some practice exercises. Because of that, in this bootcamp I am able to give you day wise exercises, and I just created document for project as well. So that project idea I like implemented in such a way so that all the features related to Salesforce can be covered through a single end-to-end use case, right? So that's way I just designed that document. And if we move ahead, so today also I will be explaining the topic, and will give you the demonstration. Then we'll do Q&A session, and I can see lots of people are appreciating this Q&A session because in Q&A you get to know different questions what can be the doubt. So if doubt is not available in your mind, and if you read someone else question, so you will also think in the same way and you will try to figure out the answer. So this way this Q&A session is helping people to learn more. And I can see many folks are utilizing YouTube comments, and they are utilizing this self-help group as well. So just try to involve, instead of asking questions, try to answer them as well, right? So if you answer them, then that community will be strong, and whenever you will be asking questions, so someone will be answer as well. Okay. So, like, we are about to complete week 8. So, tomorrow I will be taking one more session, which will also be quick. And in that session, I will be explaining all the best practices, and will be explaining platform event triggered flow, which is very simple. And as you all know, like everywhere on all social media channels where my channel is available. So I just announced Apex sessions will be starting from 20th March. So from next week, Monday, we'll be starting Apex, and people are asking like, will I be explaining Apex from the beginning? So answer is yes. I will be explaining Apex from the very beginning. So those who are beginners, if you don't have any coding background, still I will be able to explain in such a way so that you can just relate the thing. And if you do day by day practice with me, so you will be able to understand those topics. So maybe I need to redesign this timeline. So I will be doing that from Monday. I think I just need to explain Apex for at least 2 weeks, because then only I can go in the depth. And just share this channel link with everybody. So I would prefer to share the channel link as well as the Telegram link, because in these two mediums I'm sharing lots of information. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, so there also I'm sharing all the PDFs and other related stuff. Okay, so let's move ahead and start our today's session to understand how schedule triggered flow works. So till now we understood how screen flow works, we understood how record triggered flow works. So if you want to understand this scenario, how schedule triggered flow works, so basically screen flow and record triggered flow works for the new record, or if you want to update any existing record, so you just need to update something on the record, or you might be deleting some record. But there may be scenarios like you are not creating new record, you are not updating any existing record, you are not deleting any existing record, still you want to perform certain operations, right? You are not doing anything with the record, still you want to do certain operations. So in that case we will be utilizing the functionality of schedule triggered flow, right? So basically schedule triggered flow works on the existing records only at a certain date and time, right? So I have two scenarios. With the help of these two scenarios, I will try to explain how you can implement schedule triggered flow, so that you can do some operations on particular records at a specified date and time, right? So our first scenario is we need to update all leads. So leads means all the lead object records where lead source is web. What we need to do, we need to update the website field. So we will be checking whether website field is available. If it is not available, you can create it as a custom field. And we will be storing this website studysalesforce.com into that field. So wherever all the existing leads, where lead source is web, so on those lead records, we just need to store this website name, right? So this is the requirement, and that we need to do on existing records, right? So you can take this example in such a way. For example, you are running a business and on daily basis you are creating some lead records, and at the end of day, let's say on midnight, every day midnight, you want to check whether lead source is web for most of the leads. If it is web, so like you are using particular website for lead generation, so you can just store that website name on all the records. So this way, on all existing records, you can do some modification with the help of schedule triggered flow. And you don't need to run it manually every day. It will be executed automatically as you will be applying that schedule on like what time it will be executing and what frequency you want to apply, right? So I'm just jumping to the org, and I'm going to implement the flow for you. So here you can see this flow UI is already available. So I'm just clicking on new flow. So two types of flow we already understood, and I hope you have done lots of practice, so that now you can consider yourself expert in those two types. Now we are picking this third type, which is schedule triggered flow. So here you can see it shows launches at a specified time and frequency for each record in a batch. This auto launched flow runs in the background, right? So I'm just creating it. So here you can see this is the UI for the schedule triggered flow. And here we have two options. We need to set the schedule that is required, and we need to choose the object that is optional. So optionally, if you want to apply some condition, so you can do that as well. So I'm just selecting set schedule. So here you can see we need to set the start date and start time, and then we have frequency. Now you just need to check the org date and time, current date and time, right? So as you all know, all the orgs are having by default PST time zone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open any record and I'm going to modify that record so that I can see last modified date and time. So here I'm just writing test and clicking on save. So if you go to last modified by, so here you can see we have org current date and time. So it is 16:03 and time is 8:10 a.m. So I'm going to utilize this time. So date is 16:03 and time is 8:10. So I'm scheduling it for let's say 8:20 because I will be taking at least 10 minutes to explain the concept. So right now it is 8:10. I am scheduling it for 8:20. And here we have three frequency. Once, it means it will run only once. Daily means at particular time. So we are starting on 16 March. So every day it will be running at 8:20 a.m. So you can select daily. And if you want to run once in a week, so you can select weekly. So these options are available as per your requirement. You can select the option. Okay. So let's say I'm selecting weekly and clicking on done. So this way I just set the schedule for this flow. Now here you can see we have object as well. And here you can apply the condition for that particular record for which you are going to run this flow. So let's say I'm selecting lead and here you can search for lead source. If it is equals to web, then that particular record will be considered for this flow. Okay, so I'm just clicking on done. Now here you can see all those elements are available which we saw in screen flow and record triggered flow. So we have action, we have subflow, assignment, decision, pause, loop, all these options are available. Create record, update record, get record, delete record. So basically we need to update the record, right? So I am writing update leads. Now here you can use this condition to identify the record. So you can just write lead, or you can use this global record variable as well because we applied the condition in the beginning. So what you can do, you can just apply a lead source. No, not lead source. You will be applying website equals to, and here you can write study salesforce.com. And in entry condition, if you have not applied the criteria, so in that case, you can just select this fourth option where you can explicitly apply the conditions, right? So this way I'm just clicking on done and I'm just going to save it. So this flow is saved, and if I click on activate, so it will be activated, and at particular time it will be working. Okay, so I'm just clicking on activate. Now moving here, and I'm searching for scheduled jobs. So I just search for scheduled jobs, and here you can see this flow is basically scheduled, right? So schedule flow on lead, one is showing version number, submitted by, submitted date and time. You can see it is submitted on 8/13 and specified time is 8:20. So 8:20, here you can see next schedule run is 8:20. So on 8:20 it will be starting its execution. So once it is executed, so this started date and time will be available here, and it will be giving next week's schedule, right? So after 7 days it will be running again. So this way it is available here. So whenever you create any schedule triggered flow and you activate it, so you just need to search for this option schedule jobs, and there you will find one entry. And anytime if you want to remove this entry, you can just delete it. So if you delete, your schedule flow will not be executing. Right now, let's jump on the leads object, and on that object we will be just configuring the list view so that we can see all the data. So here we have leads object under the sales application. Now if I go to all open leads, so here you can see all the data is available. Now here I am going to add one field, select field to display, and I am just selecting website. So it will be available here, and I'm going to select lead source as well. Okay, and few fields I'm just removing, those we don't want to see. And I'm going to select last modified date as well, and clicking on save. So this way you can see this list view is modified. So here we have lead source, we have last modified date, we have website. So right now website is blank. Okay, so once our flow is executed, so you will see this website will be filled for the lead source wherever it is web, and last modified date will be also modified. So for all these records, you can see last modified date and time is same, but the records which will be modified for them, last modified date and time will be modified. Okay, so we just need to wait for a few minutes, then this flow will be executed, right? And we'll be checking it. So you can just refresh it. So still it is not started, so we just need to wait till the time. I can just see a few questions here, so I'm just going to answer. So Rituraj is asking, should we know Java for Apex? So if you know, that will be better. Otherwise, I will be covering all the basic concepts that you need to know. So no need to worry. So Amia, if you are from non-tech background, if you can go through with Java fundamentals. So in our sheet, you can see I have already mentioned my Java video playlist. So these videos are created by me. So if you click on this link, you will have complete playlist. So just see all the beginner videos quickly so that you can have basic understanding of Java. So that whenever I utilize those terms in Apex, you will be kind of revising those, right? So you can just go through with this playlist so that you can understand those concepts. Yes, Janki, so classes time will be same. I'm not changing. So Siva, for this first scenario, we can use trigger for sure, but you will be like anyhow you need to schedule it, because our requirement is it should run automatically every day or weekly. So that's why we need schedule thing. So in Apex also we have scheduled Apex. So we'll see when we'll be learning about schedule Apex. So Sheetal, you can just check org date and time through company information. So there you will find, or otherwise you can just modify particular record. So that will give you that data. So if you open any record, just modify that record and see that record last modified date and time. So you will get to know. So Nikhil, 8:20, because the org is having PST time zone. So in PST time zone, this time is. So Pooja, yeah, it is little bit similar to batch class, but it is, you can say batch class, which is scheduled. So scheduled batch class, you can say for scheduled triggered flow. Yes, anti, we cannot stop it. If you delete, then only you will be able to stop, otherwise not. Yes, Sachin, we can just use best like point and click. So I think you are answering to Siva. So yes, Firuz, it is running as bulkified. So Janki, this Excel sheet link is available in the description of each video, which is related to this live bootcamp. So if you go to the description, it will be available there. Or maybe if you join the Telegram group, there also it is pinned. So everywhere all the links are shared, you can just access. Yes, Rituraj, if you log out, still it will work. So it runs in the background. So if you log out, still your org is activated. So it will work. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to refresh this. So here you can see for few records, website name is available. So it is my own website, studysalesforce.com, where also you can just find some video links. And wherever lead sources web, there only you can see this website name is available. And date and time is changed for only those records which are updated. Right? So this way we just verified records are updated. Now let's jump here. And here you can see started is blank. So I'm just going to refresh. So you will see this started will be filled with this date and time, and next schedule run will be for 23rd March. So I'm just refreshing this page and you will see the change. And when you will be implementing, so you will experience the same. So here you can see started is 16/3 and next schedule run is 23rd March. So this way, if you schedule weekly, so weekly cadence will be available here. If you schedule for daily, so it will run on daily basis. And if you log out, still it will run in the background. So this was a nice question. Rituraj, thank you for asking this question. Okay, so I hope everybody understood this first scenario, how to implement it with the help of schedule triggered flow. Now we are going to create another scenario. So it is also interesting, and here what we need to do, we need to create a reminder task on opportunity where opportunity is open. Okay, so if opportunity stays as other than closed won or closed lost, then we need to create a reminder task on that opportunity. And that reminder task should be created only once. Okay, so we need to maintain that as well. So for that purpose, I am just going to create a checkbox on opportunity so that we can make sure whether reminder task is created through flow or not. So initially that checkbox field will be false, and whenever task will be created, so flow will be updating that opportunity checkbox field like task is created. Okay, so just moving to object manager, and here I'm going to search for opportunity. So on opportunity, I'm going to create a field. So that field type will be checkbox. Okay, so from here I'm selecting checkbox, clicking on next. So here field label will be task created. Initially it will be unchecked. So whenever task will be created through flow, then through flow we will be checking this checkbox as true. And I'm clicking on next, and visible to all the profiles. And generally these kind of fields, those we use for controlling flows. So if you don't want to drop them on page layout, so you can just uncheck all the page layouts, because if you place it on layout, so it doesn't make any sense. So you can just uncheck and click on save. But if you place on layout, then also it is fine. So it depends on the requirement. So I just created that field. Now I'm moving to create the flow. So on home, I'm searching for flows. So I'm just clicking on new flow so that I can create schedule flow. So I'm just clicking on schedule triggered flow, clicking on create. Now here we need to set the schedule. So we already know our current date is 16 and time we set as 8:20. So right now I am setting it as 8:30 or 35 because we will be taking some time to implement it. So let's take 8:30. Okay. And this time frequency I am selecting as daily and clicking on done. Okay. Now here we need to specify the object and the condition. So here condition will be like stage name should not be equals to closed won. Then stage name should not be equals to closed lost, right? So if stage name is other than closed won or closed lost, then only those records will be queried. And we just need to check the field task created. It should be is null false. So if it is not null, then only, no, it should be blank. So is null true. So if that checkbox is null, then only task will be created for that opportunity, right? So these are the conditions. Now these first and second condition, we just need to set as custom logic. So here I am setting it as or, because from 1 and 2, if any one is true, right? So if anyone is true, then your flow should run. So 1 or 2, like if your stage is not equals to close won or it is not equals to close lost, then it will be running. And here we are setting third, like it should be null. Okay, so I'm just clicking on done. So here what we need to do, we need to create a record. So that record we will be creating for task. So create task, and we need to create one record, use separate resources and literal values. And here we will be selecting task object because we need to create that. Now here you just need to map the values as per the requirement of task. So it will take some time to create that mapping. So just go to task, and here you can see we have task. So if we create new task, let me just try to create. Okay, let me move to opportunity, and under opportunity I will try to create new task. So if I try to create new task, so these are the fields. We need to set subject, due date, then related to, assigned to, and status, right? So here, first of all, I am searching for subject. So follow up on opportunity. Then I am adding one more field. So here due date. So here I'm going to create new resource as formula, and in this formula I will be like date or maybe future date. So here I'm going to insert a formula today, and today plus 7. So due date will be having today plus 7 days. So after 7 days date will be stored there. So I'm clicking on done. So this formula is available here, which will be stored in that due date. Then next what we need to assign status, and assigned to and related to. Okay, so status, we can have not started. Then assigned to ID. So here we can have record.owner ID. So whoever is the owner of that opportunity, that owner will be assigned with that newly created task, right? Then here related to. So related to is actually what ID. So what ID we are going to assign $record.id, the opportunity ID. Right, so that task that we are going to create, it will be related to that opportunity automatically. Okay, and if you want to store that newly created task into a variable, so you can, but I'm okay, I'm not checking it. It is by default checked. So if you want to create that variable, you can, otherwise you can leave it as is. So now I'm just clicking on done. So this way this create task element is created. Now after creation of this task, We just need to modify the checkbox, task created checkbox as true, so that whenever this flow will be running on daily basis, so for one opportunity it will be creating task only once. So here what we can do, we can select update record. So we need to update opportunity, and we need to update the opportunity that is available under this $record global variable. So you can just check this checkbox, and here you can set task created as true. Right, so that particular record for this, for whatever record this flow is running, so that particular records, this task created checkbox will be set as true. And so let's say today this flow executed, and next day this flow will run again. So for next day, on those opportunities the flow already executed today, so tomorrow on those opportunities that flow won't be working. This is important. That's why we just created that checkbox. Right, so I'm just going to save it. So I just saved it and I'm activating it. Now I'm going here on scheduled. Okay, so here I'm going to search for scheduled jobs. So here you can see, okay, submitted at 8:30 and it will run tomorrow. Actually org time is right now 8:31 and we set as 8:30. So today it won't be running. So in this case, what you can do, just delete it. Right? So it is deleted. Now what you need to do, just go here and change the time. So I'm selecting it as 8:35. So you can just manually modify this. So here we have some time slots. If you don't prefer that time slot, you can just manually modify that as well. So I'm just modifying it to 8:35, clicking on done, save as, creating new version and activating it. If I go here and refresh the page, so you will see a new entry. So here you can see it is initiated as 8:32. Next schedule run is 8:35. So now it will run today, and it will create next schedule run for tomorrow because we selected on daily. And if I go here, so you can see on this opportunity details, this opportunity stage is prospecting, and here under activity we don't have any task. So when that flow will be running, so this opportunity record will be having a new task created. Okay, so we just need to wait for 3 more minutes and then it will be executed. So there are lots of questions available, so I will be taking them at the end because it will break the sequence. So I'm just waiting for a few minutes. I think couple of minutes more we just need to wait. So I just refreshed. Still it is not executed, so let's wait for couple of more minutes. So if you have questions, so you can just write it in the chat. I will pick at the end of the session. So I'm just refreshing it again. Still it is not executed, so I'm just waiting. So I'm going to refresh it one more time. Still we need to wait for, I guess, 1 more minute. So then it will be executing. And if you are on system, so with me, you can also try and implement this so that immediately you will be able to practice as well. And you will see in the practice sheet, exercise sheet, I just added few flows. So we have two schedule triggered flow, then we have record triggered and auto launch flow combination. Then here we have all three schedule triggered flows. So lots of schedule triggered flows scenarios are available. So you can just practice them. References are also available. I hope these reference or recorded videos are helping you as well to learn Salesforce. Okay, so again I'm moving here and doing a refresh. Let's see. I hope this time it will execute. Yes, it is executed. So here you can see execution started at 8:35 today, and tomorrow is next schedule run because we selected daily schedule frequency. And if I go here, so I hope I will see a newly created task. So here it is, follow up on opportunity, right? So if you go to the opportunity and if you open any opportunity, you will see that follow up task, right? So this way you can just verify on the opportunities whether it is created or not. Okay, so this way we just created this. Now with the help of this demonstration, I hope you understood the basic idea behind this schedule triggered flow. So these two examples I already demoed, and these three you can practice. And if you see any doubt, you can just go through the recording and you will be able to understand for sure. Okay, so now we need to understand this auto launch flow as well. So for auto launch flow, I have a scenario. So basically, this auto launch flow cannot run itself. So it is like you need an engine through that it can be launched. So if you read this scenario, so it says upon creation of account, we need to create a related contact through record triggered flow and related opportunity through auto launch flow. But you already know auto launch flow cannot be executed or initiated automatically. We need to call it through any other feature. So we will be calling that auto launch flow through record triggered flow, right? So it will be called as a subflow. Now after implementation, I will show you like what is the actual benefit of implementing auto launch flow. So there is one requirement, like if you want to run your flow in particular user context, so that you can do through auto launch flow only. So whenever you are creating your record triggered flow and a particular piece of flow you want to run as, let's say, system context or system admin context. So that piece you can implement with the help of auto launch flow, and that auto launch flow you can just call in your record triggered flow as a subflow, right? So this way it will be helpful. So now I'm going to create that. So here I am moving and searching for flows. Okay, so first I'm going to create auto launch flow and then I will be creating record triggered flow. So here you can see we have this fourth option, that is auto launch flow, no trigger. So it launches when invoked by Apex, processes, REST API and more. So here already it is written like you need to call this flow through any other feature. So we'll be calling it through record triggered flow. And Apex and REST API, when we'll be learning about the programming, coding stuff, so then we'll understand like how we can link our flows with Apex as well. So if you go to my website, Study Salesforce, so here lots of scenarios are already available, like integrate code with flow. So right now I have not explained Apex. So when we'll be doing Apex sessions, so after learning Apex, it will be better to integrate Apex and flows together, right? So we'll see some scenarios like how we can link our flow and Apex programming. And flows can be connected with your Lightning Web Components, Aura as well. So we'll see that as well in the custom development part. So right now I'm selecting auto launch flow from here and clicking on create. So here you can see we have nothing to configure, right? We can just implement some elements and this auto launch flow will be called by any other flow. and through that flow, we just need to link it. So here in the requirement, you can see through auto launch flow, we need to create related opportunity. So I'm just having create record element. So create opportunity, and here use separate resources, then OPP. So I'm just giving you a small demonstration so that you understand how we can link auto launch flow through record triggered flow. So here we need to set the name. So here I am setting name as test opportunity. Then we need to set the close date. So for that I'm going to create a formula. Sorry, not variable, a formula. So I'm naming it as future date. So I will be having a function as today, and here I'm setting today plus 7 so that future date will be available, and clicking on done. Now add fields. So okay, so I'm just selecting the stage field from here. And if I click here, so I'm selecting prospecting as the stage, right? So now I'm clicking on done. So this way, this create opportunity, create record element is available here to use. Now what I need to do, I need to link this opportunity with the account as well. So for that I need account ID. So here we don't have any dollar record variable, that global variable. So what we need to do, we just need to create a variable here, right? So I will be creating a variable that should be named as record ID, and that record ID variable we will be using here to link the opportunity, right? So I hope you know like how we can create record ID, because in screen flow we already created record ID as a variable, so that we will be using here as well. So I'm just clicking at top left corner and creating new resource, and here I'm creating a variable, and that variable API name will be record ID, data type will be text, and it will be available for input, because this variable will be receiving input from any other flow. So that's why I'm enabling it as true. Clicking on done. So this way this record ID variable is created. Now if I open this element again, so here I can add the field, and I'm just writing, sorry, here I'm writing account ID, and account ID will be equals to record ID. Okay, so this way it is linked. Now I'm just clicking on done. So this flow is created. So it is auto launch flow, and I'm just saving it. So create opportunity auto launched flow. Now, if you click on this show advanced, so here you will see how to run the flow. So here we have these options, like you can run your flow in user or system context with sharing, and system context without sharing, right? So these three options are available. With sharing means enforce record level access, the data security which we already gone through. If you select third option, system context without sharing, so you can just access all the data. So these three options are available in this flow only. If you open any record triggered flow, there you won't be able to have these options, right? So if you want to run flow in these three contexts, then you can just implement auto launch flow, and you can implement that functionality, and that auto launch flow you can call in the record triggered flow. Right, so this is the type which is already available here. Okay, so now I'm just going to save it, and I'm activating it. Now I need to create one more flow, that will be a record triggered flow, where I will be calling it. So in this record triggered flow, I am going to set account as object, because I will be creating account and then it will be running. So on create of account, it will run. And here I'm not setting any entry condition. selecting actions and related records, clicking on done. Now here I am going to select create records because I need to create account as well. If you read this requirement, so it says upon creation of account, we need to create a related contact through record triggered flow and related opportunity through auto launch flow. So auto launch flow I configured. Now I am creating record triggered flow where I will be creating contact and will be calling this auto launch flow as well. So here I am writing create contact. So object I am selecting as contact, and under contact we have first name. So I'm setting that. So flow FN first name, then last name, flow last name. Then we need to set account ID so that it will be related to account. So here I am setting record.id, right? So that account ID will be linked here, and I am clicking on done. So this way contact will be created. Now what we need to do, we need to call that auto launch flow. So here you can just click on subflow, and here you can search that auto launch flow. So you can see we have create opportunity auto launch flow. So auto launch flow you can call in the record triggered flow. So here you can write call subflow. And if you remember, in auto launch flow, we created the record ID variable which expects some input. So just enable it. And here you can pass record.id as input. That is account ID. So this account ID, which is available in record.id, that will be passed as input to that record ID variable, which we created in auto launch flow here. So I'm just clicking on done. So this way it is connected, right? Now if I try to save it, so create contact and opportunity with auto launched flow, and if I click on show advanced, so here you can see we don't have that option that we saw here under auto launch flow. If I take you here, so here we have this option, how to run the flow. Right? So this option is not available with record triggered flow. Here we have directly type and other features, right? So record triggered flow you cannot run in system context, but auto launch flow you can run. So sometimes there is a business requirement, like if you are running your flow with non-system admin user and a particular piece of that flow you want to run as a system admin. So what you can do, that that minor implementation you can do with auto launch flow, and under auto launch flow you can just select this system context with sharing or without sharing, and this auto launch flow you can call as a subflow in that record triggered flow. So this is a workaround, like how you can run particular piece of flow as a system administrator, right? So this way this flow is implemented. I'm just saving it. And if I activate it, and whenever I will be creating any account, so through this flow, a contact and opportunity will be created, right? But make sure before running this flow, go to Flow Trigger Explorer, select account, and record is created. So here you will see lots of flows. So we already have create opportunity on account. So you just need to deactivate it, right? Because it will be creating one opportunity. So we have duplicate check, we have record triggered flow. Yeah, it is not creating. So this is creating opportunity. And if you have any other flow which is creating contact, so you need to deactivate that as well. Okay, so just open this flow details and versions. So here we have, so you can just deactivate. Right, so now it is inactive. So in my org, I only have one flow which is creating opportunity. This one we created right now, which will be creating contact and opportunity. So I just want to run this flow, and I don't want to create contact and opportunity through any other flow. So that's why I deactivated it. Now you can see the use of this Flow Trigger Explorer. Through here, through this Record Trigger Explorer, you can just maintain which flow you want to activate or which you want to deactivate. So if you click here, flow details and versions. So everything you will be seeing here automatically, right? Now our one flow is active. So what I can do, I can go here and create an account. And upon account creation, a new contact and opportunity will be created automatically. So I just need to populate active. So I'm selecting yes, clicking on save. So account is getting created, and under related you can see a contact is created. Contact name is first FN flow, like flow FN flow LN that we provided, and opportunity name is test opportunity that we provided. So this way, through that flow, record triggered flow, one contact and one opportunity is created, and contact is created through record triggered flow, and opportunity is created through Autolaunched flow. Right? So this way, first you will be creating Autolaunched flow, then you will be creating record triggered flow, so that Autolaunched flow will be available to use in the record triggered flow. Right, so I hope this way you understood all the requirements of schedule triggered flow as well as auto launch flow. Right, so just do implementation of these scenarios that I demonstrated, and few examples are available in exercise sheet. So just implement them as well, so that you can become expert in these types as well. Okay, so this is all about today's session. This is what I just prepared for today's session. And now if you have any question or queries, you can ask in the chat. And if you don't have, if you have understood everything, so you can just leave. And tomorrow also I will be having one session where we'll be discussing platform event triggered flow, and we will be discussing about the best practices of the flow. Right, so same time we'll be having that session, and link I will be providing in the Excel sheet as well as in the exercise doc. And if you want to have those links, so you can just go to the description of this video, you will find all the links available. Right, and do join the Telegram group where I am going to share all the session links. So those who will be joining development sessions from the Monday, so please ask them to join the group so that they will be having session links on daily basis, because I need to schedule these live sessions on daily basis, so I can just share on that day only. So just ask them. Okay, so I'm going to take questions now. So please be with me if you have asked any question. So Kalpana is asking how to make. So Kalpana is asking how to make external call out from flows. So that actually I have not demonstrated, because it is something related to Apex. So we just need to call that external call out code with flow. So whatever is related to code that I have not explained as of now. So maybe after learning Apex, so we'll be having some sessions where I will be explaining how we can connect Apex and flows together. So Verikuti, if you are asking like if I made anything before schedule time, what will happen after schedule time? So if you do any changes on the record, so at that schedule time, whatever the status of that record is, it will be utilized. Right, so before schedule time, if you do any modification in the record, so that will be utilized by the flow. Okay, because before schedule time, if you do any changes, so flow won't be affected. That at that particular time, whatever value is available in the record, so flow will be working on that data. So next question is, we will use the custom object created in this admin section in Apex, or we will start from the beginner. So we will be starting from the beginning. Like I will be explaining all the Apex related concepts that you need to understand, and like step by step, I will try to explain things so that the one who doesn't know the programming, they also will be able to understand the Apex programming. So Firis, your question is very good, and I just need to figure out the proper answer for that. So I will research. It is like part of best practice, like what happens if we go beyond the limit. So I will research it. I am just copying your question, and I'm just having it in my sheet. So I will be exploring this later. So next question is, will you please show how can we schedule email by using schedule triggered flow? So answer will be, you can just have email action used in your flow, and if your flow is scheduled, so at that time your email will be triggered automatically, right? So I think in our exercise we have one scenario related to that. So yeah, so last one, send email to opportunity owner on daily basis for won opportunities using schedule triggered flow. So here you will be scheduling trigger for particular date time, and you will be having email action implemented in the flow. So at that particular date and time, your email will be sent out. So next question is, can we execute schedule trigger flow before schedule time manually? No. In flow, we cannot do, uh, because we need to set date and time. Accordingly, it will be executing automatically. When we'll be learning about Apex programming, then there we have schedule Apex. Then there we can do manual execution as well through code. But here in flow, we cannot. So Ankur, you are asking, please also add fault path as well. So I don't think here we can add fault path. Yeah, we can add. So for these, we can add like create contact. If you want to add fault path, you can. And here you can create some options, but generally we create it for screen flow. But here what you can do, if you are getting any error, so you can add fault path as email alert. If you want to send any email to someone, so you can just add email action, and you can search for email alert and you can set it here, right? So that will be useful. Okay, so you can practice that at your own, because I know you know how to add email action here, so that you can use. So there is next question, how we can clone. So flow, basically you can clone through save as. So if you have done some changes, so whatever changes you have done, you just need to click on save as, and after save as, new version will be created and you can just save it. And if you see here, we have two options, new version and new flow. So if you want to have different versions under a same flow, then you can just create new version. That is part of best practice. And if you want to create net new flow, so you can just select this option, but this way you will be like creating lots of flows. That is not a best practice. So best practice says just create new versions, and you can just use those. Thank you, Simi. So these reference videos I created like in last 3 years with the experience that I got through working on different projects. So thank you for appreciating the effort. So why the choose object is optional? Because inside the flow, as per your requirement, you can just select the element, because schedule trigger flow you can run at particular date and time. It is not specific to particular object. If you want to make it specific to particular object, then you can choose that object. That's why it is optional. So I'm just taking next question. So next question is related to Sales Cloud that Bhanu asked, email to lead. So right now I don't have appropriate answer for this, so I'm just skipping it. So next is, in scenario 1, can a record triggered flow be used to update a website field when a lead is created or updated? Yes. So if the requirement is whenever lead is created or updated, then you want to update that website field. So in that case, yes. So you are saying if yes, how do we determine when to use a schedule triggered flow? So I already told you, if you are not creating any record, if you are not updating any record, if you are not deleting any record, you are not doing anything with the record, and at particular date and time you want to mass update particular fields on existing records, in that scenario we basically use schedule triggered flow. Like if you know, we are using mobile data nowadays, and on daily basis our mobile data gets refreshed. So that is basically done through schedule triggered flow, where you are not doing anything with the record. It is getting updated automatically. So Shrivali asking, can we call schedule trigger flow in screen flow via subflow? I don't think we can, because it is different in nature. Okay, so next question is, can you please explain more about system and user context in auto launch flow? So if we go to auto launch flow, so here in under settings, you will find show advanced, and here you will find these options. So just go through this help text. By default, how the flow is launched determines whether the by default how the flow is launched determines whether the flow runs in the context of the user or the system. So it means if non-system admin user is running this flow, so this flow will run in that user context. So there may be chances that user might not be having access to particular fields or particular object that is being used in the flow. So if for those fields and objects you want, your flow should run in system context so that you can have access to that feature. So here you can see it is written, if you choose system context with sharing, the flow respects org-wide default settings, role hierarchy, sharing rule, manual sharing, teams and territories. But it doesn't respect object permission, field level access or other permissions of the running user. If you choose system context without sharing, the flow can access all the data. Right? So here we have first user or system context. If you select, so it depends how flow is launched. So if it is user, non-system admin, so as per that user it will run. If it is system admin, so it will run as system context. If you choose system context with sharing, so record level security will be applied. If you choose without sharing, so that flow can access anything. So this way you just need to decide. So for system context, these two options are available. And first is like, it depends on the running user. So I hope now it is more clear. So Vamshi is asking, can we generate any PDF in Salesforce like payslips? Yes, I think through Visual Force we can do that. So next question is, in recent Ask interview question, you have one scenario with that scenario already finished by trigger. I didn't get this question. Vishal, thank you for appreciating. So Shrivali, for your question, like why flow, why trigger? So flow is point and click, trigger is code. So it depends on the requirement of the business. If you don't need custom implementation, go with flow because it is easy to implement. If requirement is complex, you can go with trigger. With trigger, you need to implement test classes as well, but with flow, you don't need to implement test classes. So this way you can just do a comparison and you can do implementation. So Arun, we have a Telegram group. You can just join that and there you can ask doubts. So Firoz, I don't think we can identify which flow modified the record. So like logs will be showing you all the details. So for flows also logs will be generated. So if you go here and if you open the developer console, so in developer console you will see all the logs and we can create logs manually as well. So let me show you first here. So here we have logs. So here you will see some records, right? So here you can see the logs and you can create logs as well by going into setup. So here you can create debug logs. Okay, so you can just create new. So right now here you can see this is available. So here logs will be available. So you just need to create new logs, set date and time, and between that date time, whatever you are executing, those logs will be available here. Okay, just give it a try. Next is in data security, if we have sharing in flow, if we take without sharing, so it will enable the user to see created record. No, in flow, like flow for processing will be able to access the data. User won't be accessing on UI. It is related to flow only. No, Simi, I don't have any reference video for Web to Lead. I'm working on Sales Cloud stuff, so then I will be creating those videos. So next is I'm having some cases having status as resolved. I want to close the same case after 7 days from resolved status. Okay. So I think you can use scheduled triggered flow for that. So just try to implement and if you see any doubt, you can ask that in the Telegram group. So by using auto launch flow, can we count total number of related records? Yeah, we can do, but we need to call it into record triggered flow. So it will be better to create record triggered flow instead of auto launch flow, because auto launch flow cannot work independently. It needs to be called by any other flow. So Arun is asking, as a best practice, one trigger, one test class, same as flow also. Yeah, so in trigger you need to implement test class, but in flow you need to flow, no test classes. Okay, so if you have more question you can ask, otherwise we can just end the session here. So I'm just waiting for a couple of more minutes and then I will be ending the session. Okay, so I don't see any questions. Thank you so much guys for joining today's session, and tomorrow we have one more session at same time. So we'll be like learning last type, that is platform event triggered flow, and some best practices. So Sunil, I already demonstrated it, like what is subflow and what is auto launch flow. Auto launch flow is a independent flow, and Subflow is nothing. It is like element through that you can just call any other flow. So subflow is an element through which we call another flows, and auto launch flow is a type of flow. Yeah, Ashok, if we select with sharing, so flow cannot access the data. It depends on the user who is running the flow. So as per that user, flow will be accessing the data. If without sharing, then it can access all. So merging, you if you want to do merging with the flow, so then through loop you will be able to do that. So just get all those records, and basis on particular field you will be comparing, and then you can just merge. So best practices, anti bro, we will be discussing tomorrow. Just wait for tomorrow session. I will show you all the limitations. Yes. So Sandeep, yes, for your answer, like rollback means whenever there is any failure, so everything will be rolled back. Okay, guys. So, like, I think we don't have more questions. So, I'm just ending today's session. Thank you for joining, and we'll connect tomorrow, and we'll let you know more things tomorrow. Thank you.